Okay. Okay, so this is the video that's going to review the Canvas shell and the two assignments that are due. Okay. So is like I think I mentioned this in class earlier this afternoon, but I'll go over this in class tomorrow. Is the first written assignment. So then this is where you're going to access the first written assignment. And as I mentioned in class, you're going to address these three prompts or these four prompts. And like I mentioned, you could either answer these three prompts like one at a time, or you could take them and write an integrated, cohesive essay, right? And remember that I mentioned, and I also have it here, that it should be double spaced, 4 to 5 pages long. Oh, and the text has to be Times New Roman, because Times New Roman is much easier to read than the other fonts. Okay. Right. And that's pretty much what you're going to do. Just address these points. And as I mentioned in class this afternoon, you are not required to do any research. You are not required to cite anything. This is just your opinion, your subjective opinion. And as I mentioned, this essay has no right or wrong answer. This is more of an inventory for me to see how you understand the concept society, and if it has any impact on you, and also why are you taking the course. Okay. And like I mentioned, I want you to be honest and forthright. Okay. So like that's for the first assignment. And then the second assignment, which you can find and just click on the discussion, is the icebreaker. All right. And this is just sort of a way to become familiar with each other, right? Yeah, so and just to sort of get a sense of what your perspective is on either how you see things in relationship to what's happening in society, or just looking at yourself and how this summer was for you. And the only criteria that you really need to do, oh is to select 5 songs. And as I mentioned in class today, so I selected 5 songs myself. Under Pressure by Queen, We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel, the Hamilton mixtape Immigrants Who Get the Job Done by these rappers, Kinan, Residente, Riz MC, and Snow the Product. And then another song by Snow the Product that just came out a couple of weeks ago is Sábado. And I've been playing that like uh, almost at least a couple of times a day since the song came out a couple of weeks ago. And then I also mentioned Cuáles Fronteras by Banda MS de Sergio Lizaraga and Ice Cube from 2023. And then I also provided like a brief description as to why these songs sort of relate how I feel in relationship to what's happening nationally as well as globally. Okay. Yeah, and that's pretty much a discussion. As I mentioned, you can comment on my entry, because I am, once everyone has done this, I'm going to comment at least on one or two or a few of them. Okay. But there's no um, uh, restrictions on the type of songs that you could use. All I'm asking right now is that when you do write your comments and you write your songs and write out the rationale, just to be courteous, all right, and professional. Okay, all right. And that's pretty much for the assignments. I hope it makes sense. But again, I'm going to go over this again tomorrow in class to make sure that you understand. And if you have any questions, that you could ask tomorrow. All right. So I'm going to stop it here and I'm done. And have a good evening.